Madam Secretary, in front of your friends and supporters who are here today, and those who share our humble goal of getting to gender parity in politics globally, I would first like to thank you and the National Democratic Institute, on behalf of Reactor, for selecting us for this prestigious award. It really is a highlight in our organization's history, and it's an incredible honor to have your name associated with our work. I would also like to thank the staff from NDI's Macedonia team, in particular Chris Henshaw, Slađana Marjanović-Panovska, Ana Angilovska, and Aleksandra Cvitkovska. They have been great allies these past few years, and together we have been working on coming up with new and improved ways to address the lack of gender parity in Macedonian politics, as you saw in the video. Our joint efforts and continuous advocating for women's rights recently led to an increase in the legislative quota for women candidates from 30 to 40%. And we really hope to continue this successful cooperation with the Madeleine Albright Grant. So Reactor recently marked its 10-year anniversary, and for most of those years, we have been committed to improving the status of Macedonian women in all aspects of public life. But women in Macedonia are still discriminated against, left behind, and denied a place at the table. This happens in the labor market, where just over 50% of working-age women are economically inactive, and those who do work are paid less than their male counterparts. Not that you would know anything about that here. It also happens in national and local politics. Even though women have achieved 30% representation in parliament under the quota, they're still significantly underrepresented wherever the quota does not apply. So 4 of the 22 ministers are women, and only 4 of the 81 mayors in the country are women. Now, in the past 8 years, we have been providing otherwise unavailable data on the status of women in all aspects of public and private life. During this time, we have succeeded in challenging and blocking policies and legislation that prevent women from seizing their full potential, but also promoting policy alternatives to bring women closer to equality. At the same time, we recognize the importance of building coalitions with like-minded organizations. We recently brought together all major gender equality and grassroots women's organizations into a single gender equality platform, which is a coalition that has served to amplify our multitude of voices and make sure that our work and our demands are being heard. So through this platform, we promote solidarity rather than competition between our organizations, and we really hope to replicate this among women politicians with this grant. The idea for the project came about last year, and when we worked in partnership with the NDI office in Macedonia, and we conducted a study looking at the differences in the experiences between women and men in Macedonian politics, and this was the first study of its kind in the country. Now, if you guessed that the study concluded that women are much more qualified than their male counterparts and yet take much longer to get to leadership positions within their parties, you would be right. But we also found that despite the heavily polarized political context, women politicians can and will work together, support each other, and address the discrimination they face as women in their political roles. And this was particularly true in smaller settings and behind closed doors. So there, women politicians showed great compassion, solidarity, and empathy with one another, and at the same time found that they didn't need to agree on policy to agree that the obstacles they face in their political careers, just because they're women, are unacceptable. Our Madeleine Albright Grant project is based on the findings and recommendations of that study, and in particular, the identified lack of support systems for and among women politicians, both within and outside their parties. With this in mind, our goal is to provide a safe space where they can interact and get information and support from their peers, again, behind closed doors. And so we have envisioned this safe space in the form of a closed access website. And at the same time, through the website, they can also reach out to the members of the gender equality platform for technical and expert support in their work, especially when it comes to gender equality issues, and especially when it comes to how to better serve their constituents, in particular the women whose needs, as we know, are too often ignored. So at Reactor, we believe that when women look beyond their differences, their collective influence can break the barriers that have been holding them back and infuse new life into voices kept quiet for too long. We also believe that if what we seek is profound and sustainable change, it is time to let women lead the way. So allow me to thank everyone here once again Through your support for the National Democratic Institute, you make it possible for organizations like mine around the globe to pursue our vision of a world where women leaders are the rule and not the exception. Thank you.